It has been more than a year that people have adapted to COVID-19. One of them is by wearing a mask. As if wearing a mask is not challenging, more people need to adapt because of losing their jobs. This pandemic was a challenge for Abby Cunningham, as it has been with many. Being in the education department, her experience of adapting were challenging.
And had to stop working. I pretty much just stayed home for the rest of the school year because I didn't go back. They were all online. And then at the beginning of the school year, I didn't feel comfortable going back yet just because, they kept going back in and they were not going back in. And then if I got sick, they wouldn't cover anything for me because no health insurance or anything like that.
But there will be changes to the way people live their lives in the future to come. The limitation of things people can do in public may be small and restricted, but at home, there are activities such as crafts and learning a new recipe. These are examples of things that families and friends were able to take away from COVID. Since the start of COVID-19, unemployment rate has increased to 14.8% in April of 2020, and since then it has decreased to 6.2%. A lot of people in different sectors started seeking for employment. One of them is Abby Cunningham, a substitute teacher in Westmoreland County. COVID had her out of a job for months due to schools being online and for her own safety. Like others, wearing a mask and following guidelines was a challenge at first, but now people like Cunningham learned how to live with the new lifestyle.
While I was subbing, I was working 50 hours a week with a part-time job plus subbing. And then once all the schools closed down for the rest of the school year, I filed for unemployment. I made no money with just regular unemployment. So I had to figure if my health was worth going back to school or if I would just stay unemployed. So I decided not to go back to school for the school year whenever they kept going back in and then going back out of school because it wasn't very guaranteed.
Although there are still restrictions depending on where you live, there is hope as the vaccine is here and being distributed. Right now, we are in a phase in which those who are 65 and older or people with health issues, along with specific jobs, are able to get the vaccine. As of March 6th, there have been close to 3 million tests administered. The vaccine is not mandatory for people to get, but it is highly recommended.
I hope to go back to school, and I hope to go back to subbing. And I know there's going to be a lot of positions opening up soon, so I hope to do that. Plus, I also like to tutor, so I'm going to do a little bit of both.
Cunningham is not alone. Brielle Stevens, Jr. at IUP, has had changes in her life because of COVID.
I don't think COVID impacted as much as I thought. The only thing I can really think about is the way we manipulate our classes now. We have to take everything online, and it's not always on school or in classes. So as far as it impacting my education would just be the difficulty of passing these classes and getting...
Spring is here and so are smiles. People are getting the vaccines, and Biden says that everyone should be vaccinated by May. The sun is shining and the future is looking bright.
I think COVID would impact my future because it just goes to show that you want to be more sanitized and cleansed.
I'm actually getting the vaccine soon. I recommend that everyone gets the vaccine because that's the best way to get everyone back in school.
Although everyone has experienced COVID in a different way from one another, there is still something to take away from this all. This is Molly Cunningham reporting for IUP TV News.